Should we give it a go?
Yeah, I think we should get started. I hope everybody is ready and connected to audio. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending. And a big thank you, Juergen, to you for taking the time. I know you're really busy these days. Something about an event next week or something like Sapphire or something like that. So that you took the time for this call as well is phenomenal. Thank you so much. How have you been?
Yeah, very good. So actually, I'm in Waldorf this time. Last times I greeted you from my home office in Berlin. I'm in Waldorf. We have a studio close by in Mannheim where I did some recordings for Sapphire. And yeah, that's certainly a big event. I'm already looking forward to it. So there's some sessions are recorded, some sessions are live. The studio is amazing. So I hope that many of you tune in. So that is all good. Before we start, I would especially thank you for tuning in. And also, I mean, we saw a few colleagues dialing in from India, but also it can be all over the world as well. Brazil, I saw. So I hope that you personally, but also your loved ones navigated well through this pandemic and that you hopefully are safe and healthy. So that is yeah, wish from my heart. Yeah, today we will focusing on the BTP technology topics. I have a few hints. I was certainly instructed not to share any announcements, but I have a few hints what to expect at Sapphire. And then we do have a demo. And then you can take it basically wherever you want, because that's a community call. And depending on the questions and directions you have. So we talked a bit about Sapphire. So if you haven't done so, let me briefly share my screen here. If you haven't done so, can you see my screen? Craig, can you briefly confirm?
Yes, I can see your screen.
So you just can Google SAP Sapphire, and then it should be the first or second link where you find our program. And you find that we have several events here. You find that we have a global keynote with Christian and Julia White and Hasso Plattner. And you find that we have multiple tracks. So we do have several tracks that hopefully are all interesting to you. Certainly where I am most involved in is the IT track, but please also check out the other ones. So if we go down here, also we do have sub-tracks, intelligent enterprise, S/4HANA, data to value, of course, the focus area of the business technology platform, integration and extension, of course, and business process intelligence, where there's also a lot to learn from. We do have a few recommended sessions. I think Cecile or a colleague will post them in the chat as well. And yeah, so register now is the button if you haven't done so yet. Very easy to do. We hope to see you there. Then let me give you a few hints, but then we can go further. So a few hints. We are continuing to invest in low-code, no-code. We are also very keen on the whole area of course, HANA, Data Warehouse Cloud, SAP Analytics Cloud, and planning. And there you will also see some movement. Also, I heard and saw that SAC came up a lot with the mentors, for example. So also stay tuned on the SAC side. So a lot is happening there as well. And then last topic I want to catch in that area is the BTP free tier. And also here I can't share all the details, but what I said in the last community call holds true. So A, we will have a free tier model. B, it will be launched in phases. C, first phase is with Sapphire, our IT day. And then we first start with our existing customers. That's for some process reasons easier to do. And then later on, the free tier will also be available for freelancers, for individual business users, etc. And you know that, so as part of that process, we also extended the BTP trial to 12 months. So please continue using that as well, as long as you don't find anything, everything you need in the free tier. We are also very closely in touch with our mentors. So we had a few sessions with them, actually got positive feedback, very positive feedback. And as I said, stay tuned for the Sapphire announcements, where we will see more of that. Yeah, and also a few things that do not change. So the business technology platform is super critical for us. It's the foundation for our business applications, for our industry cloud, for our networks, for our partners and customers, all around the use cases of integrating, of extending SAP, but also building new applications and getting value out of data. Yeah, so we really push forward with SAP to, in addition to being a great enterprise application company, also pushing to becoming a B2B platform company. And yeah, we really want to deliver the scenarios and the tools you need in order to innovate on top. And yeah, with that, we do have our community site. Let me briefly share that as well. Let me share my screen here. So I trust you all know that, but here under community in topics, you find SAP Business Technology Platform. And of course, there are multiple topics, explanations. What is the Business Technology Platform? Already also a link to Sapphire Now. And then depending on what you're interested in, you find everything here on database, data management, analytics, as well as then application development, integration, intelligent technologies, links to our documentation. I can briefly touch on that as well. We now have our first glances where we actually drive a community-driven open approach to documentations. And potentially we can touch on that later on. Yeah, I said we will have a demo today because otherwise maybe you're already tired. I learned that the attention span for like online events is now like 12 minutes. So we are, 11 minutes in, so it should still be okay. But now we need to switch. So we will switch to a demo. And for that, let me unshare here. I recently internally saw a very nice demo on SAP BTP, and in particular on the ABAP environment, or as some of you know it as Steampunk. And I know that many of you like Steampunk a lot, our SAP BTP ABAP environment. So I invited an ABAP expert today here to present that. And with that, Frank, it's great to have you. I only give one hint. It's about building multi-tenancy applications in ABAP. Frank will also stay with us for the Q&A. And with that, Frank, over to you.
Thanks, Juergen. So let me share a small demo about Steampunk. So what is Steampunk? Steampunk is SAP's platform as a service offering for ABAP, and Steampunk supports mainly two scenarios. One is side-by-side extensibility, especially for customers to extend their ERP solutions. And the second scenario is building multi-tenancy SaaS applications, especially for partners. And this is exactly my demo. So for that, I would like to share my screen now. So, and I would like to show a very small application, which is multi-tenancy aware, and how to subscribe this application from a customer's perspective. So first of all, everything starts in the BTP cockpit. And in the service marketplace, I have the option to create a new development system. And of course, for this demo, I already prepared a development system, but it's pretty easy. You can just create this one, and that's it. So now I'm in the development system, and I already logged on to the system GA5, which is on AWS in Frankfurt. and I already prepared a small RAP application. So RAP is our RESTful application programming model, and I implemented a small database table in order to maintain events like this one. So this is pretty easy, just event header data. I already prepared also test data, just 4 records in our database table. So this is nothing else than the good old SE11 in the SAP Koin on-prem world. The only one thing what I would like to show also is according to these different RAP entities which are developed on top of this database table, we have also an OData v4 service, and I just want to preview is the data via this OData service. And now I need to press the go button, which is somehow hidden. This is also interesting. And I can see now the 4 entries where I already saw before in the ADT preview. So that's the first step. So now I want to move to the next step. So now I want to switch my role. I want to switch now to the customer perspective. So now as a partner, I can configure this app to be also part of the service marketplace in the BTP cockpit. And this is what I also prepared as a partner. And now a consumer, an end customer of this partner is able to subscribe to this application. And this one part of this subscription is that a new tenant is created in the provider system of the partner. It means we are using the client field, the good old client field from the on-prem world for content separation. So now I'm able to open this app, this subscribed app, in a new session, and I'm getting the Fiori Launchpad, can switch to my event app and go directly into the app and create new records. So that's pretty easy. So and this is one consumer. So now I can also switch to another consumer where I prepared a record before the meeting. So and this shows the aspect of the content separation. I use, by the way, a different theme, so high contrast theme, to distinguish these two tenants. And here I have also the option to open this this app, and let me quickly show the records. And here I have a different test record I created earlier, so which explains the content separation between the different tenants of this app. So now with multi-tenancy, which we introduced end of last year in Steampunk, the partners are able to provide multi-tenancy enabled SaaS applications for their end customers. And this is, of course, very important for the partners to offer such solutions, because it's definitely cheaper to offer this in a multi-tenancy fashion. So last but not least, I would like to show one aspect of the provider. So because the provider, the partner, would also like to operate the application and also see how many tenants are already subscribed. And for that purpose, we also provide so-called landscape portal as part of the Steampunk offering. And now I switch to the landscape portal, which is intended for partners, and the partner can now see the provider systems prepared for their end customers. And I have here my provider system for this demo. And I navigate into the details of this system, and I can see, among other information, also the tenants which were already created for this provider system. And these are my 2 tenants, and these tenants are clients in the ABAP system, 919 and 12 for customer 1 and customer 2. So that's basically the demo, which shows how to develop a RAP application within ADT and how to subscribe this application within the BTP cockpit and how to use multi-tenancy using the good old client field in the database tables. So the good news is everything is available. Everything what I showed is available in production. And by the way, also the programming model, the RAP programming model and how to build such apps. This is also possible to try it out in our trial offering for Steampunk. And there's also a very nice tutorial which explains all these steps, how to build the database table, CDS views, and the UI on top of it. So with that, I would like to say thanks and back to you, Juergen.
Yeah, Frank, thank you so much. And as you mentioned, Frank also stays for the Q&A.
Straight into the Q&A. There is a lot of them already there. Plus we have from the blog post that was published about the call, we have questions there as well. I have also questions via social media. We're at not a loss for questions. Folks, because people posted to the blog post and everything as well, I'm going to try to bounce back and forth between so we can try to get to as many as possible. Again, though, any questions that we don't get to, we will be trying to follow up in the community, either with future calls or with future blog posts. So if we don't get to your question, rest assured, we will do our best to get there. With that, I guess we should start off. I would say the first question here in the Q&A, we'll take it from the call. The question is from Martin, and the question is, how can developers get better support for product bugs? When we support investigated product bugs to SAP, they always go to the bottom of the list as we submit them in a T&D system. The exception is CAP, as they respond to Q&A in the community, but I have BAS bugs that don't even seem to get attention.
Yeah, so I do not hope that the bugs that you report as developers in test and development systems go to the bottom of the list. So I like the community aspect of CAP and that this is a more open approach. And also with these business application studio bug that you apparently ran into. I will look at it. So it comes up now. So we and I will also more systemically look at whether there are any so to say discriminations from bugs coming from test and development systems, because for me they are of course equally important to be solved. What we see with BAS, and I hope that gives you some insights in how we want to drive that even in the future as well, is BAS is the first one where actually we use our open documentation initiative. And with this open documentation initiative, I can actually briefly share my screen once more. There we go. Let me see. Here, I just Googled that quickly. Here, DJ Adams, I think, is also on the call. So we launched this open documentation initiative, and here exactly Business Application Studio is the first one. So now, okay, I know this is for documentation, not for bugs, but I hope that you see that going in the right direction in general. Is that loading? It's loading. So here you now see like a little bit of new buttons, for example, an edit, and then it will bring you to GitHub. And here you basically see the documentation. And what you now can do is you actually can ask that to be edited, and then this will be requested and basically transformed in pull request, and then the team actually can see that. So we have not, I have not looked at the issues here, but I assume that the team also is looking at issues if they are created here now as well. But as I said, I will also look at the bottom of the topic, because you should be supported, because you are closely working with customers. You want to get something done, and if you run into a situation you cannot solve, then we want to help you. So we want to help you get the job done as fast as possible. I hope, Martin, that helps as a first answer.
All right. So we have a lot of questions that are very closely related around low code, no code. So I'm going to grab a couple of those as the next ones. I think they might, tie together, but I'll leave that up to you to deal with that. The first one here, oh, my screen keeps jumping on me as the questions are voted. So here is one from Nico regarding the low code strategy. Which tools, Room, AppGyver, Mendex, etc., shall be used for which use cases, and how do we know which ones will stay and not disappear again in a couple of years?
Yeah, no, that's also a good one. I can certainly, all of those have their dedicated usages. We made an acquisition of AppGyver, and of course, you can assume that we are like zooming in on this one as a really no code application. So if you want to have a no code environment, use AppGyver certainly. And then of course for the others, as we usually give updates, we are also updating on this.
All right, hopefully that was an answer to that one, which I will then lead straight to this one here. What is SAP API strategy, especially for on-premise customers? For example, there are APIs requested via Community or SAP CEI, but this isn't going anywhere even with popular demand.
Yeah, let me, I will again share my screen. Two things. So first question, what is SAP's API strategy? So we have api.sap.com, our SAP API Business Hub. Here you find tons of, you can actually launch the beta here. You have tons of APIs, and that also includes, because you mentioned especially for on-premise customers, you can, for example, go to S4HANA, and that includes S4HANA on-premise APIs. So you see here 15 pages of APIs, and you can also, of course, search if you have something particular in mind. Let me try something like a bit of material. Okay. So yeah, for example, those ones. And then you mentioned, okay, how can I influence this? Two ways. Okay, now it's logging me in. You can directly here on api.sap.com request content. So you can write down what you need here. And the second way is actually, I opened it here already, is the influence platform. So influence.sap.com. And this is where we are bringing together, customer partner requests, and here you see like a lot of ones that are open. So also here you can contribute. So those are the two ways how you can reach us in a structured way. I hope that helps.
So next question up here, just jump to the top of the list. When will it be possible for SAP partners to provide subscriptions into existing sub-accounts of customers instead of creating new sub-accounts in the global account of the provider?
It's a good question, actually, and I could know it, but I don't well enough to give you a firm answer. I don't know, Frank, if that's the same use case in your scenario.
Exactly, yes. So
it should be. I don't know, maybe you can comment, and if not, Gregor, we come back to you, or in one of the follow-up communications we clarify. But Frank, maybe you can share some insights.
Yeah, that's a very good question. Is exactly what we also saw a bit hidden in the demo, because I exactly use the same global account for the provider and consumer, and this is definitely an important point to be more flexible here, to use different global accounts, to use this what we are calling cross global account subscription. So, and this is on our roadmap, but sorry, I cannot mention a specific release and months here for the availability,
Yeah.
but we are working on it.
Gregor, we come back to you and also the rest of the community, because I know how, like, yeah, painful it is to having to go through these configuration steps, and that's exactly why we are tackling.
Now, I do want to jump over to the blog post. We've actually answered, there's several similar questions there: free tier, open, documentation, status of different things. Let me grab the next question. Multi-tenant application. I think we've just talked about that a bit as well. So it looks like we're covering a lot of things. If I'm missing something, please just add it. And you're on the call, please add it into the Q&A here. But here is one. Where is it? There it is. So this is a question that came in. It's one of the later ones that came in on top of the blog post. ABAP Pass is so restricted again. Well, I probably shouldn't have picked this one because it refers to the points above, and there's 9 points above. Why can't you allow us the ability to package third-party developer apps on SAP App Store? Why only big companies? Why not us individually?
Frank, maybe you can comment on the BTP ABAP environment and why, because we chose wisely why we have restrictions on that, and you cannot use everything, but we have an allow list, so to say, for APIs and components. And then, Craig, if you can send me a link to the other document, I try to figure that out in the meantime.
Exactly. So from a technical point of view, we need to limit few things due to the cloud enablement. So this is regarding the released objects, so the objects which are delivered from SAP, and the objects which can be used by customer and partner apps. So this is very important regarding upgrade stability and all these things. And also with regard to the language, we needed to restrict few statements, for example, in the cloud world, and therefore it's not simply a copy paste or just bring exactly the same application into the cloud. It requires some kind of transformation, and this is what we are trying to support with tools and so on and so forth. But it's not that easy just to copy it one-to-one due to the cloud enablement.
I hope that helps with the first part, and I now got to this.
As you can see, there's quite a few points there.
Yeah, that's a whole page. Rasenjit, maybe we connect offline, and then we can also discuss, because the SAP has an app store, and the SAP App Store also allows all kinds of applications, all kinds of partner applications. There's big partners, medium partners, small partners contributing to that. Also, if you go to api.sap.com, basically what you see, and I will break the record today in sharing my screen. So what you see here, for example, partners. So here, at least in the beta, so in the updated version, you see a lot more coming from partners as well. And these are like integrations, but also independent of independent of when you go to content categories. Here you see, for example, also a lot of partner content, and that can be content for SAP Analytics Cloud, for Data Warehouse Cloud, integration flows. It can be all kinds of different context and content. Can be RPA bots. So we want to be as open as possible. And if you see challenges, then please let's make sure via Craig and the team that we understand those, and then we can properly respond. I hope that's fair.
We're definitely going to be available. If anybody needs to follow up with that, you can reach out to us. If you're not sure exactly who to reach out to, you can reach out to community@sap.com, and we'll do our best to find answers for you. All right. I will take another question exactly from that long list of 10. It's number 9 on the list. It was BTP is a beautiful name, and marketing may come up with new names in the future, but please elaborate to us, developer. What are the precise offerings and go-to services in a more accessible way so that we can advise our customers properly?
Yeah, SAP BTP. So I will do it again.
I'm not setting this up. It
So
just happens.
I mean, I'm fine here. So here you have on SAP.com, you have an overview of products. You go to Business Technology Platform, and here actually, and we constantly try to improve that as well. So here under products, you are seeing here what is going on in the database and data management area, application development and integration. And here, of course, you can go further. In this case, integration suite, extension suite. You have analytics with Analytics Cloud, Data Warehouse Cloud, SAP HANA, planning. So and intelligent technologies as well, RPA, conversational AI, IoT. So I hope that this gives you a good starting point. And then, of course, if you say developer, then I can also recommend the Discovery Center. So here, for example, under the mission catalog, you do see we have more than 200 missions. These are like predefined use cases that you potentially want to do also in the different areas. Let's say, I don't know, digital process automation, build a workflow from scratch with SAP Workflow Management. And then you are really guided here. You say, okay, I want to start this mission. And then you are really guided through the process of you can join missions. So if you want to work in a team, you can do that, or you can start a new one. And if you do that, you really see like, okay, like I'm guided through this. What are the components that are necessary? A project board, so like a Kanban board here of what needs to be done, some exercises, etc., etc. So if you don't know it yet, please try it out. I do that from time to time. So I try to do at least one larger mission, tutorial, etc. every weekend. And of course, we invite you to do the same.
Absolutely. And lots of opportunities to do so. Discovery Center, the Developer Center, lots of places where you can get to more of those. OpenSAP has a great collection of things as well. So definitely all things that everyone should be checking out. So let's jump to our next question here. There was one here that I thought would be great for Frank. Are there any official productive steampunk solutions by SAP yet, or is it still only used for custom development by partners and customers? Or maybe Juergen, you can answer as well, but I thought Frank might have a line on that one.
Yeah, so for us, it's of course also very important to eat our own dog food. So it means we have also SAP products, and we are currently working on, or such products are currently in development on top of Steampunk. And yes, the answer is yes, internal products as well as, of course, for our customers and partners.
And the one right above that, I think, goes in the same vein. The question is, can you please share a few recent success stories of SAP HANA Cloud? What are the main scenarios where it's being used? And Juergen, I guess maybe for you on that one.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that, and because I can, I will do it again. So same thing, SAP.com, and then here database, data management area, and then you can go to HANA Cloud. So as you hopefully see, we also really cleaned up our website to make it more accessible and more useful. And yeah, you see some explanation, demos, infographic, etc., etc. And here you have different options. I don't know if you all heard. So of course we have SAP HANA as the database now in the cloud as well. But we do have the data lake option as well now available, plus the ASE capabilities that we brought in and integrated here as well. And not to forget these adaptive server enterprise replication capability. So if you need to bring data from different from sources to different areas where you want to consume that data, that is now also possible. And yeah, here and NHL was one. If I take another example recently, is soccer for good community, has in HANA Cloud Stories. And here you see also like a lot of the customer, or a few, a short selection of those customers that actually use HANA Cloud. And don't forget that we ourselves at SAP, we use HANA Cloud as well, big time. So our whole data warehouse cloud capabilities, for example, only exist because we can build on top of HANA Cloud as well. So I hope that helps, and I hope that also here different categories, won't go into all the details, but I hope that this helps you to find a good starting place.
The next question up, voted quite highly up to the top of the list here while we were talking. What arguments do you give to existing S4 HANA and BTP customers to migrate or create apps using the ABAP environment instead of doing them on-premise or using other stacks in the Cloud Foundry environment? In other words, what are the competitive advantages of the ABAP environment?
Frank, you wanna start?
Yes, of course. So the main advantage of the ABAP environment is, of course, it's a platform to develop and run the application. So it means it's operated by SAP, and is an advantage to move this kind of responsibility to SAP. So that's basically the main difference. And other differences and advantages are coming from the side-by-side approaches. So it means you are decoupled from the core application. It gives you more flexibility to develop additional things with a separate release cycle. You can onboard different target groups which should not have access to the core application. So therefore you have more flexibility, more control about your extensions.
Yeah, and many of those capabilities are also true, of course, for the other runtimes. But don't forget, there's an ecosystem and community out there of, last time I heard, like 2-ish million ABAP developers in the world. And this gives all of those colleagues and the opportunity to build modern cloud SaaS applications, leveraging the ABAP PaaS, the business technology platform ABAP environment. That is clear advantage. If you have, if you, as in the past, build a lot of ABAP capabilities, and now you are able to bring them to the cloud as well. That is very helpful. Now it's getting hot here as well in the Q&A and upvoted. So let me answer Gregor's question. Thanks for asking, Gregor. I would be disappointed if you wouldn't have asked. So in the moment, we are doubling down really on many topics for CAP, our cloud application programming model. So it's super key for us. And we do need to get and want to get a lot of good things for our development community out there. So therefore, yes, we stay in contact with you on that one. We are very passionate. You are also passionate on it. We can imagine doing that, open sourcing CAP at a certain point in time, but not now, not in the moment. We really want to focus on scope and quality of that. Oh, I do have an echo now. Thanks. So I hope that came through. We are super passionate about CAP. We will use that even more, but we also know we want to focus on scope, quality, feature set, etc. In the moment to get a few things done. And then let's have the conversation. We will anyway have it around TechEd again. And let's see how far we are then with CAP.
And we are just about a little bit close to 3 minutes remaining, Juergen. There are still tons of questions. And there is some campaigning going on in the chat to get questions upvoted. However, with such a short time period, and I know that you're pressed for time in terms of Sapphire prep and customers and anything. So I did want to give the last couple of minutes to you for any closing remarks or anything like that you might want to share with the community. And of course, for the community, we will be addressing all of the questions as quickly as possible and doing follow-ups and everything like that. So Juergen, the last few minutes are yours.
Craig, thank you so much. And yeah, with that, let me close it out. That was a fun session for me. I liked it a lot. And let me only one more time share my screen, I promise, which is actually the community webpage. So here, this is the website about all the community calls. And we are currently, what is it today? Here, May 28th. So that's now at an end. And there are more coming up. So please also keep coming, join those community calls. And as Craig mentioned, we are happy to take your comments, your feedback, because we are only ultimately successful if you are and all the companies you work for are. So therefore, this is super critical for us. And that's why also the community is so critical for us. And no, I'm happy to taking the time. So stay tuned, take good care, and enjoy Sapphire starting next week. But most importantly, stay safe. All the best. Take care. Bye-bye. Have a great weekend.
Thank you very much, Juergen. Thank you, everyone. The recording and the replay will be available shortly.